Today is VE Day!
Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. So today is VE Day, so we thought we'd do an additional live show today for making some scones, and a few different flavours today. So we thought we'd do normal plain ones and fruit ones and also cheese ones. So maybe you're doing them all, maybe you're doing one of them. So I will try and go as slowly as I can and go through each step by step so you know when to add your different ingredients. Okay, so we'll do a couple of shout outs first before we get going. We're going to say good morning to Emily McKenna. Thanks for joining us today. And good morning to Polly Chambers. Hi there. Right, so the first thing we need to do is make sure our hands are washed, which I'm sure they are. And we need to turn our ovens on to 180. That's 180, and if you've got a fan oven, 160. So we'll just give you a moment to do that. 180. Well done. Okay, so in our bowls we need our self-raising flour. So Poppy and Willow are doing the two different sorts. So Poppy's going to be doing
the cheese
and you're going to be doing
the normal one.
Yes. So we're not going to do the fruit one, but those that are doing fruit, I will tell you when to add it. Okay, so if you are doing fruit ones, so adding raisins or sultanas, I will tell you when you need to add those. And it's 25 grams of raisins or sultanas if you're adding fruit. Okay, so 225 grams of self-raising flour, and in goes our butter. So 40 grams of butter goes into our flour.
Oh, that was good. It was on the side, I thought.
And what we need to do is rub together the butter and the flour. So you want to rub it together to make little breadcrumb type consistency. So we don't want to see any butter once it's all rubbed in. So using your fingertips, just rub your butter into your flour.
I don't think this bit's my favourite part.
Is it?
Yeah.
So while everybody's doing that, let's say okay, so somebody's asked about what size cutter. It doesn't matter, it's up to you how big you want your scones. So this is our size, so it's about a 6 centimetre diameter, but you can have a smaller one, you can have a larger one. It just depends how big you want your scones. So
we like ours big.
we like ours, well, this is kind of a medium size.
Yeah, we like it.
Okay, so good morning to Helen and Holly Philpott. Good morning. And Ollie and Katie Carver. Good morning again. Nice to have you back. And good morning to Jack Morris.
And can I say one?
You will say one?
Good morning to Lois Carr.
Oh yes, good morning Lois. And good morning James and Maxwell Tutt. Good morning.
I'm trying to get all my flour on my
So keep rubbing it in.
I think I'm done, man. It's a lot of flour.
So what you want is, you don't want to see any more butter. So it kind of looks like back to flour again.
There we go. I think this is back to flour.
Back to flour. Okay.
Needs a lot of flour.
Or you can do the next shout out, Willow, one on the bottom. So good morning to
Millie and Jamie.
Good morning.
Millie, Jamie.
Yeah.
Millie's one of my best friends in my class.
I know, it's nice. Okay, so the next thing we need to add, if you're doing plain scones, so just the sweet scones, and if you're doing the fruit ones, you need to add 1.5 tablespoons of sugar. So only if you're doing the fruit or the ones without fruit, or ones that you won't include cheese, add 1.5 tablespoons of caster sugar.
I'll just keep doing this.
So you just keep doing that. And then give that a stir.
I'm just going to use it with my hands.
Are you? Okay. Okay. And then we need to add a pinch of salt. So add a pinch of salt.
Both of them?
Yeah, into both. That's it, Poppy. Add a pinch of salt.
Oh.
That's it. Okay, so now if you're doing cheese, add your cheese. If you're adding fruit to your scones, add that now.
Whoa.
So say good morning to Kenzie Stockton. She's watching via our YouTube channel. Good morning. And good morning to Flo and Millie Costas. Good morning.
And good morning to Isabel. Wait.
That's it, Isabel.
Isabel and Jamie. Burn.
Good morning. You want to do one?
Good morning to Maya Salford. She's also in my club.
Wow, good morning.
There's lots of people in.
Okay, so have we got everything mixed in? So the cheese, the raisins or the sultanas, and all your other ingredients if you're not using any of those. So just a little recap. What have we got in our bowls?
We have got, well, for the regular ones, we've got flour and butter. We rub them together, and then we added a pinch of salt and 1.5 tablespoons of caster sugar.
Well done. Can you remember?
Oh yes, so we have our flour. For the cheese ones. Yeah, for cheese ones, because I'm doing the cheese ones. We have our flour. We have our butter, and then we rub that in to make breadcrumbs, and you're not supposed to see the butter then. And then after the butter, didn't we add a pinch of salt?
Yes.
Then we add a pinch of salt, then
and then what was that after the salt?
And then we add the cheese.
Okay, that's where we got to. So we're adding the cheese. Okay.
Oh, and for the fruit ones, you do everything about the normal ones, you just add your fruit in as well.
That's it, yeah. So now we can add our milk. Poppy, you can do the next shout out.
Our next shout out is good morning to Nick and Dave, or you could say Nikki and Dave.
Good morning. Right, we're going to add our milk now. So we need about 110 millilitres of milk. But we don't add it all at once, so we just add a bit at a time because we don't want them to go too soggy. So it's safer just to add a little bit and stir and a little bit and stir until we feel that we've got enough in. So we'll show you as we go along. So just make sure you gradually pour your milk in a little bit at a time. So it's about 110 millilitres.
I'm using my hands. Because I don't really
And we'll show you what it needs to look like.
Why am I doing it with my hands?
Are you sure you want to do it with your hands?
Yeah, they're already messy. We don't. Oh, that's a lot, but I'll go with it. Oh, that's cold. Feels weird. It's going to need a bit more milk.
Yes, need a bit more. Add a bit more. So what will happen is you'll get big lumps in, starting to form.
I think we might need more milk for both of us.
Yeah?
Yeah. We've still got all the flour left.
I'm spoon.
Let's have a look at yours.
I just need the flour with me. That's what I'm trying to get.
Oh, so if you put all your milk in at once, it's okay. Don't worry. It's just safer to do it a little bit at a time. See how you get on. If it's too sticky, don't worry. Just add a bit more flour.
Oh, there's another one.
So somebody's asked how we say scone.
I'd say scone, but
Dad says scone.
what I do is sugary. Scones, I say scone for that, but like these type of scones, I say scones.
We can say it either way. Let's just put it at that.
Okay, how are we getting on?
Good. You can show it if you want, because it's forming lumps.
Okay, right, let me just try and see what yours feels like.
Feels cold, doesn't it?
Yeah. So you can see here that Willow's is starting to form big lumps here, but we've still got a bit of flour at the bottom. So we're going to add a little bit more milk, just to grab the last bits of flour.
Do you need to put some milk here?
Thank you.
So you'll need a little bit more.
Okay, now
Wait till it's in.
So, help
we're
you there.
together.
So if you've got little hands, it's quite hard to pick it all up. So you might need a grown-up to help you, just to try and bring it all together.
Yeah.
Real mucky hands.
So I can hear you trying to take all the dough away.
Okay, right, Willow, yours looks like it's pretty much there.
Yes, it is there. Just some's crumbling off. Shove the last bit of flour, milk in.
Yeah.
Stick it together. Now it should stick together. Should I put it on my mat?
Just check it first.
Right size of my face. So big.
So you've still got a little bit of flour at the bottom, so.
Look at my hands, they're so messy.
Oh, you can look at my hands.
Okay, so with Willow's one, you can see that now most of the flour is now gone and it's all one big ball of dough. So once it's all come together, pop it on a mat or your work surface. Just leave it there for a moment, just while I quickly help
My hands are
Poppy.
quite weird, but
Because we mix it.
Right, so what do we do if we've got loads of dough on our hands?
we rub them, so instead of using water, because that makes it a bit more mucky and it clogs
More
your
sticky.
sinks, you can rub your hands with a bit of flour and it will all come off,
Yeah.
hopefully.
The majority will come off.
Okay.
Yeah, so you kind of wash your hands with flour. That's how you get all the mucky bits off, instead of doing it down the sink.
I'm getting the last bits in my bowl. Okay. So,
I wouldn't wash your hands just yet, because we're going to be still doing this, aren't we? Okay, so we'll wait for a second just to let everybody get to the same bit. So just once it's all together, just pop your dough just on your mat. We'll just say hello to Leo, Ethan and Isla. They're doing it for the first time today. Good morning. Hope you're having fun.
And hello to Sophie and... Okay, I'm going to try. Sophie and Reggie Wood.
Oh, good morning.
Reggie Wood. How are they this?
You know them, Sophie and Reggie.
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, hello.
Right, so when you've got your dough all come together, you kind of just need to knead it just slightly, not a lot, it's not like bread, but just kind of squish it all together so that it's all one nice lump. That's it, well done. So, what we don't do with scones is we don't use a rolling pin to roll them out because we want them to rise nice and high in the oven. So the easiest way to do it is if you split this dough in half. It's just easier to handle when it's smaller. So you split it in half.
Hulk split.
Right, so the best way of doing it is starting with a ball. So you start with a ball, like this. Right, can I just do this bit? And then what you want to do is just, with your hands, just flatten it slightly. So you don't want it too flat, you still want it to be fairly high. So just pat it down with your hands.
Oh, this like that.
And with a circle cutter, it's very tempting to press down and give it a wiggle. But that will then ruin the shape of your scone when it cooks in the oven. So what we do, we push down and lift up pretty quickly.
Can we use this side?
You can use that side,
And
yeah.
it should turn out very, very high.
So that's it, well done. So try not to twist it. Try not to twist the circle cutter. You want to press down and lift up really quickly.
It looks like the chef hat a little bit.
It does a bit. You've got to make sure you've actually cut it. So press it all the way through till you feel the mat at the bottom, and then lift it up. That's it.
That's it.
So,
How do you get it out?
Willow, you can say this one. Bottom, second from the bottom.
Mrs. Gumball.
Say, good morning, Mrs. Gumball.
She was my preschool teacher.
She was. Good morning. Okay, let's say good morning to Nyla Khan, who's also joining us for the first time. Good morning. And Amy Huckstep from Cuffley. Good morning. Okay, how are you getting on, Poppy? So try to...
I don't know how to like. It's worrying how much you squish it.
Don't want to squish too much.
Like that.
There we go. So just work your way through your dough until you've used it all up and made all your scone shapes.
I can't really feel.
Okay.
Opening force up there.
Well done.
Yay!
And then grown-ups, what you might want to do is just get your baking tray ready so that the children can place them on top of your on top of the baking tray as and when they're ready. Okay, so somebody wants us to explain the cutting again. So we don't roll our dough for scones. We just pat it down till it's fairly high. So we don't want it too flat because we want our scones to rise in the oven. So you pat it down, and then when you cut your dough with a circle cutter, you press all the way down
And straight back up
and then
again.
straight back up again. You don't wiggle the cutter because you don't want it to ruin the shape of your scones in the oven. And so that's what it will look like. So press down and up straight away.
And it should look like this.
That's it.
Very high.
So let's say good morning to Alex and Eve and those at the 5th Stevenage Rainbows who are also joining us this morning.
Yay!
Good morning.
So, actually the rainbows.
It's Stevenage Rainbows. You went to Nebworth Rainbows, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, copy that one in.
Oh yeah. Keep going then, Poppy.
Oh, it's knowing how squishy you squish it.
You don't need to worry about how to squish it, just squish it. Okay. So somebody's asking if you do anything with the baking tray. So all we're doing at the moment is popping our scones onto the baking tray. It was just a suggestion to get your baking tray ready for the children to put them on. So that's all. Right, girls, we're going to share this one. So Poppy, if you do your cheese ones that side and your plain ones that side.
Okay. They might go quite big, so I'm going to space them.
Okay.
I'm going to do 3.
So then we need to remember which are the cheese ones and which are the... What is that, Pops? What is that? Let's do that one again, shall we?
I know that one.
There you go.
Okay, so we've made about 8 on each for each.
9.
Oh, okay. 8 and a baby one.
8 and a baby one. Our tester.
And this tester.
Okay.
Okay, so somebody's saying that they've only made 4 scones. It could be the size of your circle cutter, and it doesn't matter. Big scones are nice. I quite like big ones, but that could be the reason why you've only got 4.
But they'll still be yummy either way.
Mine's got a
little lump on the top. Okay, so let's do one more. Probably just do it like this.
Oh, I want to do it like that.
Okay, so let's say good morning to Poppy Clune, Keris Bambra and Rowan Wilkinson. Good morning.
And let's say hello to Lottie and Maya Smith.
Maya Smith.
Maya Smith.
Good morning. Right, so if your scones are ready on your baking tray, we now need to brush them with a little bit of milk. So you can either do it with your finger or you can do it with a brush like what we've got here. So,
You can do it with the brush, I'll do it with my finger.
is that what you're going to do? Okay. So remember who's a who's. Poppy, if you come around here, it might be easier.
You want them to be golden brown, that's why we're putting milk on it. Because you want them to be golden brown when they come out of the oven, don't we?
So somebody else has only got 4. I'm not sure why. I've no idea why you've only got 4.
We've got like...
I mean, we did remember that, well, they've done 1 lot each. So if it was just one of us making it, we would have had 8, sorry. So I don't know why you've only got 4. Okay, so let's say good morning to Hannah and Joshua. Good morning.
Is this cheese?
And hi
No.
to Debbie Knighton.
Oh, Debbie Knighton. Good morning. Okay, so when your scones are all brushed with milk, I'll just do this again. they now need to go into the oven. So they don't take that long, about 15 minutes. Just make sure they're nice and golden on the top. And then they should rise slightly as well. So we can pop those in the oven.
I might need a bit of flour.
Okay, so we'll do our hands in a second. So I'll pop these in.
Okay. I'll just brush them with a bit of milk.
Okay, so those that are now making jam will start doing that. This is a really good jam recipe because it makes one jar and it's really quick.
It's delicious as well.
And really good fun to make for a quick kind of jam recipe. It requires a saucepan, it does require a hob, but don't worry because that's at the end. So we won't need to keep running backwards and forwards to the hob if it's away from where you're watching us. So to start off with, we need a punnet of strawberries. We do need them cut with no stalks on. So you may want to do that now. Cut off the stalks of your strawberries.
I'm so jealous, and I love eating them.
So whilst everybody's cutting off the stalks of their strawberries, I'm just going to quickly clear this area.
Me too. That is
So tempting.
So for our jam,
Is this an island?
for our jam, we need the same amount of granulated sugar as you have strawberries. So for example, if you had 200 grams of strawberries, you would need 200 grams of granulated sugar. So it does depend on what your punnet weight is. If you've got a big punnet, then obviously you might not want to use all of the strawberries in there. This one was 200 grams. So we've got 200 grams of strawberries to 200 grams of granulated sugar. Okay, so somebody's asked to confirm the oven temperature for the scones. It was 180.
Fan oven 160.
Thank you, Relay. For a fan oven, 160. And they take around 15 minutes.
Well, where should I put this? Oops.
For the jam, you only have caster sugar. That should be okay. So, yep, that's fine. Right. Okay, so you've got two options for the strawberries. You can either mash them on a plate first, or you can use a potato masher, which is a really quick way, directly into the saucepan. We're not going to do that today. We're just going to mash our strawberries on a plate first, just so that you can see them.
You take that one. Oh!
What was that?
Lemon James.
Oh.
Taste that one.
Okay, so start to mash the strawberries. As I said, you can use a potato masher because that is a really easy way for children to mash strawberries. So I may need to get that out in a second. See how we get on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It might be easier doing it this way round.
I'm not sure.
Is jam sugar okay? Somebody's asked. Jam sugar is perfect.
Because we're making jam.
Yeah. Jam sugar is a brilliant thing to use. Would you prefer a potato masher?
Oh yeah. Did you see my face?
Yeah. Okay, so I suggest if we're using a potato masher to do it directly in the pan, and they won't fly everywhere.
How do people do it with potato mash?
Do you want to have a go, Willow?
Scones all over me, yes please.
Maybe see if Willow. It might be because you're not high enough.
I'll try. Did it? Three.
So what you want is all the nice juice coming out of the strawberries. And that will be including that in our jam. So let's say good morning to Oliver and Francesca Griffiths. Good morning.
Hello to Jack Rose.
And hello to hello.
Keep mashing at the same time.
Hello to Annabelle Harrington.
Yes, good morning, Annabelle Harrington. And good morning to Daisy, hopefully I'm going to say this correctly, Paddow, which is your first time. Good morning. Hope you're enjoying our cook along today.
Oh my, that made my head hurt.
Let me finish for you.
I'm almost there.
So we nearly mashed up our strawberries.
Okay, and I feel my hair. Strong.
Okay, I say good morning to Zach and Theo Wood. Good morning.
And good morning to Kit Jolly.
Oh, good morning, Kit. Your trumpet playing was brilliant last night. We heard you for the NHS clapping outside. Well done. It was really good. Okay, so our strawberries, I'll show you what they look like.
They're mashed up.
They're all mashed up. And they look like that. So all nice and mashed, lots of the juice. And in with the strawberries directly goes the sugar and the lemon. So it's a teaspoon of lemon juice, which is around a wedge of lemon's worth. So if you squeeze that in.
We put in lemon because it brings the jam all together.
Yeah, it helps it to set the lemon juice.
Because of the acid in the lemon juice.
Yeah. Say that a bit louder because of
the acid in the lemon.
Because of the acid in the lemon.
Right, so give that a stir properly. Let's say a good morning to all the gammon cooking with us today, and including Lewis and Lois, I'm sure, and possibly Toby as well. Good morning. Okay, so if you stir it all in, you should get a nice gloopy consistency, and that now goes on the heat. So what you want to do is heat up your strawberries, sugar and lemon until it starts to bubble away. And once it starts to bubble, you need to leave it for 5 minutes bubbling. And this just helps to cook the jam. Once that bubbling has been done for 5 minutes, it's ready. What you may want to do is add a knob of butter. And the reason is, with jam, you get some kind of white foamy stuff that comes to the surface, which is fine, but sometimes doesn't look very nice. So what happens is, if you put a knob of butter in, it helps to bring that all to the surface, and then you can just scrape that off. So you can do that after the 5 minutes of the bubbling away. Once your jam is done and cooled down, it's then ready to be put into a jar, a clean, sterilised jar, and then put into the fridge. And it's really a really nice quick jam to have with your scones.
And it tastes really good.
It does. We like it, don't we?
Yes.
So we'll put ours on the heat in a moment. So just remind you about the jam. So it now goes on the heat. Once it starts to bubble away, you don't want it too high, you want it on a sort of a relatively low to medium heat. Once it starts to bubble, then leave it for 5 minutes, and then that will make your jam properly done by then. And so then once that's 5 minutes is over, then put in your butter, scrape off all the white foamy stuff, and then you can put it in a jar, ready to eat. So should we say a couple of shout outs before we go?
Okay, so firstly me. So the first shout out I want to do is
Come on.
is going to be Evie Winder.
Evie Winder again.
Evie Winder again. Thank you for watching again.
And good morning to the Hewitson girls. Good morning.
Wait, do you want to do one?
Couple more.
Good morning to Poppy, Clarice and Rowan.
I think we did that one already, but good morning again.
Good morning to Kira Lee O'Neill.
Kira Lee O'Neill. Yeah, good morning.
I keep getting lost names.
And two more. Good morning to
Catherine, Tryon, and
Tyrion.
Tyrion and
Ostara. Okay, somebody has messaged saying you don't have a jar. That's okay. A plastic container is fine, a plastic pot. Anything with a lid, really, just to pop in the fridge. So don't worry if you don't have a jar.
And the last shout out we're going to give is Sienna and Jensen Bannister.
Good morning.
Good morning to all of you.
Yes. Right, so I think that's all. I think we're all done with our scones. I hope you enjoyed making those with us today. Tomorrow we're back at 10. What are we making tomorrow?
We are making
Crunch
cream
cream.
cookies.
Yeah, crunch cream biscuits. So you'll see the ingredients on our Facebook page. So we'll be back for that. And enjoy your scones. Don't forget to send us some photos. It'd be lovely to see them all. And enjoy VE Day. What do we say?
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye. Have a great day.